Coffee prep. You know what gets our guests going in the morning? A good old cup of joe. At Holiday Inn Express, we keep it coming by making the coffee station available to guests 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This means the station must always be set up and ready for service. Whether guests want a caffeine kick at midday or midnight, we're always ready for them. So, to get you familiar with the coffee station, you'll need to learn all you can about preparing the coffee machine and brewing and tasting the coffee. Let's start with the basics. Preparing the coffee machine. You can do this in 4 simple steps. Step 1. Start with a clean coffee shuttle. Preheat for 5 minutes by filling it with hot water. After 5 minutes, lift the lid and empty it. Position the empty coffee shuttle under the brew basket. Step 2. Make sure the LED screen with Ready to Brew is on. Step 3. Using only 1 filter per brew, pour an 8-ounce pack of coffee into the filter. Step 4. Level the coffee in the brew basket and slide the brew basket into place. That wasn't too hard, was it? Now let's move on to brewing and tasting the coffee. Follow these 3 steps to brew the coffee. Step 1. Push the Brew B button to begin brewing. Allow the brew cycle to complete. Step 2. Discard the grounds from the brew basket immediately after the cycle is completed. Remember, we serve fresh coffee, so you must never reuse grounds. Step 3. Once the brew cycle is finished, carefully place the lid back onto the coffee shuttle and close it. So now that you've brewed a fresh coffee shuttle, what better way to check its freshness than by tasting it? Simply pour some coffee into a cup and have a sip. Is it too weak or too strong? Is it hot enough? If it's hot and fresh, it's ready to be served. Top tip: coffee must never be held in the coffee shuttle for more than 4 hours. After all, we want to keep our coffee delicious and fresh. So keep track of the time the coffee has been in the shuttle and replenish it as needed. And you're set. Guests get their Java fix easily, thanks to you. Get familiar with the required equipment and products for the coffee station by looking at your quick reference guide. All equipment and products must be set up correctly so every hotel provides a consistent experience for guests. The coffee station is available 24/7, so you'll need to maintain it constantly. We'll look at coffee station maintenance in the next lesson. Take a look at your quick reference guide. Walk from one side of the coffee station to the other, and make sure every piece of equipment and every required product is set up and ready for guests. Got it? Good! Maintaining the coffee station. The coffee station is open 24/7, so hot coffee is always available. Maintaining the coffee station is easy, but it's about more than just free-flowing coffee. You've got to keep it simple, neat, and organized. There's that simple, smart travel we keep talking about. So let's take a look at the best practices for coffee station maintenance. You've got to do a few things to keep a coffee station running. First things first, before breakfast service begins, refill condiments, cups, lids, and stirrers. Wipe down condiment bowls and creamer bottles. Then, during breakfast, check on condiments periodically. Don't forget to refill them before your shift ends, and always remember to fill the hot water unit before the end of your shift too. Clean the drip trays and taps frequently throughout the day. Always keep a backup coffee shuttle ready in the pantry. This way, guests won't ever have to wait for coffee because you'll be replenishing the coffee station quickly. We can't say it enough. There has to be fresh coffee available all day, every day. So do your part to make that happen. Our tip? Use a rolling cart to transfer the coffee from the pantry to the breakfast bar area. This will make your job easier and get the coffee out faster. One of the most important jobs at the coffee station is keeping the coffee unit clean. To clean the inside, you'll need to do the following. Pour the cleaner into the coffee shuttle. Add hot water and then run some cleaner through the nozzle. Then let it sit overnight and use a scrubbing brush to clean the inside of the shuttle the next day. Once you've done that, pour the water out and rinse 2 to 3 times. It's important to do this because keeping up maintenance prevents brewing issues and equipment downtime, which affects the guest experience. We only ever want our guests to be thrilled with the Holiday Inn Express service. Set up a schedule so you know who has to replace and replenish the coffee and when. Replace the coffee every 3 to 4 hours and keep an eye on the hot water levels, refilling them as needed. If the water runs out, the unit gets damaged. While you're checking the water levels, check that the coffee creamer pumps have enough creamer in them too. If you do all this, there's no reason why our guests can't have fresh coffee all day, every day. And that's all it takes. Remember, consistency is key, so look at your quick reference guide if you're unsure about something. Keep the coffee flowing by cleaning, replacing, and replenishing. Refrigerator station. This is the refrigerator station. Just like the rest of our breakfast bar, it's smartly designed and simple to use. Guests can easily find what they need. And you can easily make sure the station stays fresh, fully stocked, and organized. But to do this, you need to know the required equipment and products, and the best practices for the station. First up, let's take a look at the required equipment and products. The refrigeration station consists of 3 pieces of equipment: the countertop refrigerator, melamine containers, and the egg tray with tongs. The countertop refrigerator stores yogurt, milk, butter, cream cheese, and hard-boiled eggs. We usually stock strawberry yogurt along with one other flavor variety. The yogurt is always found on shelf 1 and 2. And we also supply both skim and 2% milk. We keep them on shelf 3. The melamine containers store butter and cream cheese portions. At Holiday Inn Express, we believe in giving more where it matters most, so your hotel might also stock extra optional items at the refrigerator station. These items could include chocolate milk, for example. Since we like to keep things efficient, these products come prepackaged in portion-controlled containers, so guests can easily grab the items they want, especially if they're looking for something on the go. All you have to do is keep an eye on the station, making sure it's fully stocked and doesn't run empty. Which brings us to the final piece of equipment at the refrigerator station, the egg tray with tongs. This is where the hard-boiled eggs are kept during service. The tray is replenished as breakfast progresses. Towards the end of breakfast service, you can reduce how many eggs you place in the tray to minimize waste. Dispose of any uneaten eggs at the end of breakfast. A dirty or understocked station means it's harder for guests to have a great start to the day, and more difficult for you to have a smooth, successful start to your shift. So, to make sure everyone can have an excellent breakfast, let's explore the best practices for the station. Just like the rest of the breakfast bar, the refrigerator station should be clean at all times and frequently checked for spills. When you refresh your breakfast bar, take a moment to move your food products to the front of the refrigerator for easy access and visibility to the guests. After service, you should restock the fridge using the first-in, first-out principle, or FIFO. This means that the station is filled up from the back, and items are arranged by expiration date, so that the older foods are eaten first. Always dispose of any expired items immediately. We only ever want to give our guests consistently good food, so this is really important. The refrigerator station needs to be kept at a temperature below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, or 4 degrees Celsius, so that nothing spoils. Use a refrigerator thermometer to regularly check the temperature of the station. Top tip: any blockages to the countertop refrigerator's fans could affect the temperature, so always keep the fan unobstructed. And there you have it. Easy, right? Go and restock the refrigerator station for your next breakfast service right now and see for yourself. Juice Station. Our guests are all about the get up and go. Whether they're zooming out the door or having a relaxed breakfast, nothing starts the day off better than a glass of OJ. They're looking for smart, convenient breakfasts. And what's smarter than a ready-to-go juice station? Let's make sure the juice station is always ready for them by learning how to set up and maintain the juice station. Setup is simple. In fact, you'll only need 2 pieces of equipment: the 4-nozzle juice machine and the juice cup display. Then there are cups and juice. See? We told you it was simple. You can check your quick reference guide for information on which juices your hotel serves. And now let's look at how to maintain the juice station. During your pre-service check, double-check that the juice supply is connected. Also check that the backup juice supply is stored upside down, with its nozzle up, over the water dispenser like this. Then check that all the nozzles work. Keep the juice station clean and tidy. Use a damp cloth to wipe down the equipment using mild soap and water. Throughout the breakfast service, monitor the drip tray and empty it whenever necessary. It's best practice to regularly flush the juice machine. This happens after service. To do this, open the machine and flip the metal bar. Turn the nozzle for each juice compartment, and water will flush the leftover juice out. You must also clean the nozzles. To start, bring a pitcher of hot water to the juice machine. Then, simply twist the nozzles and gently pull them free. Put them in the pitcher first, and then wash in soapy water and rinse well. If there is a refill light, you'll need to replace the old juice supply with a new one. You'll have to use FIFO, the first in, first out principle. So check the expiry date on the new juice supply to ensure you're using the oldest one first. The expiry date is 120 days from the date marked on the juice supply. Once you put the juice supply in, just check that the juice flows freely. It should turn from water to juice. Finally, when you do closing checks at the end of the breakfast shift, flush and clean the juice machine. Look at your quick reference guide again to make sure you're following the standard procedures. Are the juices connected properly? Do you know which juice options your hotel serves? Ask a fellow breakfast bar host to check your setup before the shift starts. Whole fruit display. Fruit is nature's perfectly packaged, on-the-go breakfast. It's great, just as it is. That's why we don't overcomplicate it. Keep the whole fruit display fresh and up to standard, and you'll be one step closer to providing smart, simple breakfasts. To keep those standards up, you'll need to follow best practices. Let's look at setting up the station and keeping fruit fresh. We'll begin with setting up the station. To set up the whole fruit display, you'll need a minimum of 2 blue and wood tone risers and 2 white melamine bowls. Make sure relevant items are washed before you place them on the display. The bowls must be washed in mild soap and water. Remember to remove all labels from the fruit before placing them in the bowls. Make sure your station is set up before service. Be prepared. Be ready. Now, let's discuss keeping fruit fresh. Why is this so important? For starters, overripe fruit attracts fruit flies. We don't want that. Fruit that isn't perfectly ripe just doesn't taste right. And our guests expect the same high quality from every Holiday Inn Express hotel they visit. So always check that the fruit you're putting on display is fresh. Bananas, for example, have a habit of ripening fast. And nobody wants to eat old mealy apples. At the end of service, move any leftover fruit to the storage area and preserve it for the next service. Dispose of any old or damaged fruit. The whole fruit display is a simple way to give guests a quick, fresh addition to their breakfast. Keeping the display in order is pretty simple. Have the right equipment and keep fruit fresh. So now that you know how easy it is to maintain the whole fruit display, go and check the fruit in storage right now. Is it all fresh and ready? Is it being stored correctly? Cereal station. Hot food. Baked goods. Fresh fruit. Oatmeal. We've got variety. But sometimes all our guests want is a nice bowl of cereal. We have 3 types on offer, so we've got them covered. And cereal's pretty simple, right? Not so fast. We have to make sure our guests have the best experience and that the station runs smoothly and simply, all the time, every time. So let's look at setting up the cereal station and maintaining the cereal station. Let's start with setting up the cereal station. To do this, you'll need the following: a 3-cylinder cereal dispenser with labels, and a bowl and spoon organizer. You'll also need the 3 types of cereal your hotel serves. Make sure you set up the equipment and cereal exactly the same way every time. Many of our guests have been to other Holiday Inn Express hotels, so they'll expect the same familiar quality and convenient setup wherever they are in the world. Use your pre-service checklist to make sure everything's in order before you start service. So, when guests come in to enjoy their breakfast, the equipment is clean and the cereal is stocked up for them to enjoy. All set up? Now let's look at best practices for maintaining the cereal station. The most important thing to remember is that your cereal needs to be fresh. Use the first in, first out principle, or FIFO. When you fill the canister from the top, older cereal gets eaten first. Remember to seal the canisters correctly so the cereal stays fresh. The unused cereal still in the bags also needs to be sealed properly so it doesn't get stale in storage or attract insects. Keep the station tidy and crumb-free by monitoring the crumb tray regularly and keeping it clean as part of your service routine. At the end of breakfast, fill up the canisters for the next day's service so you're prepared. And finally, clean the canisters thoroughly every week. If you stick to the standards, you'll do a great job of delivering delicious cereals to guests. You're an important part of the simple, smart travel experience that keeps guests coming back for more. Now you know which items you need. Go and check you've got enough stock of all the cereal that your hotel serves. Bulk oatmeal station. Our guests are on a mission. They've got things to do and places to go. That means they want a healthy and nutritious breakfast that's also quick and easy. Oatmeal is a popular choice. So let's meet our guests' expectations and learn how to set up a bulk oatmeal station that's easy to access. We'll look at setting up the oatmeal station and maintaining the oatmeal station. Let's start with setting up the oatmeal station. The oatmeal station consists of the following: the oatmeal cooker, the stainless steel insert, a ladle, a cover, and the oatmeal toppings organizer with lids and metal spoons. We're aiming for consistency. That means your oatmeal station must be set up with exactly the same items and equipment in exactly the same way every time. Our guests don't have time for delays, fuss, or mess. So keep it simple, keep it consistent, stick to the standards. And remember that oatmeal takes 40 minutes to prepare. That's quite a long time. Manage your time well so your oatmeal is ready at the start of breakfast service. Got it? Good. Now let's move on to best practices for maintaining the oatmeal station. With oatmeal, you've got to be sharp. Your mission is to keep it hot and just the right consistency. You've got to stir the oatmeal every 15 minutes so it doesn't stick to the sides or form skim on the top. Oatmeal loves water. It absorbs water and becomes too thick pretty quickly. So keep adding hot water from the pantry coffee brewer to prevent thickening. oatmeal can be a messy business, so clean around the cooker during service and replace the ladle when you need to. What about condiments? We've got a variety of tasty condiments that complement oatmeal perfectly. They've got to be kept fresh, so rotate them. At least once a week, remove any leftover condiments and wash the bowls. Remember to check their expiration dates when they're delivered, so you're always serving them fresh. And don't forget to use metal spoons for the condiments instead of plastic spoons. Top tip: if oatmeal is a popular choice at your hotel, consider purchasing a second cooker for the pantry, so you can keep guests stocked with enough fresh oatmeal every morning. At the end of breakfast service, turn off the cooker, then dispose of any leftover oatmeal and clean the cooker. So that's the oatmeal station. Keep following the standards and it will run smoothly. You'll stay consistent so that guests always get the same delicious oatmeal they expect from all Holiday Inn Express hotels. Have a practice round. Go and set up an oatmeal station as if you were preparing for service. Are there any standards you've forgotten? Write them down so you don't forget. Hot food station setup. Great days start with a hearty breakfast, and a hearty breakfast starts with hot food. At Holiday Inn Express, most of our hot food items are cooked fresh. It's our mission to provide guests with consistently high standards, so you better believe we take our setup seriously. To help you achieve this standard, you'll learn about the required hot food station equipment. You'll need to set up all the required equipment before the beginning of the breakfast shift. And don't forget to put up the correct identification signs at every station. If your hotel requires sneeze guards to be set up over the hot food station, make sure these are set up properly. You'll need 3 or 4 induction chafing dishes and pans, 3 or 4 induction hot plates, decorative induction surround, serving spoons and tongs, food identification signs, and an optional sneeze guard. The number of chafing dishes you set up depends on your hotel's layout. Just remember that when you set them up, you need to align them properly for direct contact with the heat source. If the correct holding temperature isn't maintained, this affects the safety and quality of the food. Your handy quick reference guide will have all the information about which food items the hot food station serves. Remember, some hot foods will be on rotation, so check your hot food daily menu to see which foods you need to set up on which days. This rotation allows us to offer guests a variety of menu options every day. Our brand promise is simple, smart travel. So our guests shouldn't have to work to see what's available at the hot food station. This means that you must put clear signs up in the correct place, and the correct serving utensils must be provided. For example, there should be a ladle for the gravy and tongs for the sausage links. Remember to clean all equipment at the end of every day, so it's ready for the next day's use. If equipment needs to be pre-prepped before the next service, always do this at the end of each breakfast shift. We want our guests to have a positive experience every time they stay at a Holiday Inn Express hotel. So take 10 minutes every morning to double-check that you have all the correct equipment and food. Have you looked at your quick reference guide? Got everything? Good! Hot food station maintenance. Hot breakfast? We've got our guests covered. They know no matter the day or where they are, we'll always deliver a great hot breakfast. And part of delivering that is ensuring we maintain the hot food station, so our guests always have a seamless experience. In this lesson, we'll look at pre-shift preparation and maintaining the hot food station. Let's start with pre-shift preparation. This actually begins after shift the day before. It is here that you will estimate how much food you'll need the following day. Stage your meat and omelets in pans and refrigerate them for cooking the next morning. And remember, scrambled eggs, sausage gravy, and biscuits need no prior prep. Then before breakfast service begins, switch on the Rational oven. Take the prepared meat and eggs out of the refrigerator and load them into the Rational oven. Push the relevant preset buttons. We want things to be hot, so while you wait for the food to cook, walk over to the breakfast bar, pour a small amount of water into the bottom of the chafing dishes, and preheat them. When you hear the buzzer, take the food out and put it in a chafing dish. Your hotel should provide you with oven mitts to cover your arms for removing food from the Rational oven. Use them. Stay safe. When the food's done, use a thermometer to check its internal temperature. All hot food should have an internal temperature of at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit or 74 degrees Celsius. Once all the food's out and ready for service, place the condiments and food identification signs at the breakfast bar. Remember, we keep things simple for guests, so make sure the signs are in front of the correct chafing dishes. The food's out, the guests are eating, and you want to keep service flowing seamlessly. So let's discuss maintaining the hot food station. It's called hot food, not warm food, so make sure the holding temperature stays at least 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius. Use a food thermometer to check the temperature periodically. Top tip: induction units should be set at 160 degrees Fahrenheit or 61 degrees Celsius for eggs, and 170 degrees Fahrenheit or 76 degrees Celsius for meats. If you're serving scrambled eggs, stir them periodically to ensure freshness and fluffiness. Sausage gravy should also be stirred often to keep it fresh and prevent a film from forming on the surface. Keep an eye on the chafing dishes so you know when to replenish food. When you do replenish, move the older food to the front of the chafing dish and the newer food to the back so it stays fresher for longer. At the end of breakfast, turn off the induction hot plates and allow them to cool. Then dispose of all the uneaten hot food items. We don't store cooked or served food for the next day. Remember, hot and fresh. Guests don't want dry eggs, cold meat, or old gravy. Keep the station consistently hot, fresh, and fully stocked. Keep it simple for guests. Label all the food so guests can find it. No fuss. Replenish it often so there's always enough. Keep them coming back for more. Take a look at some heartbeat comments to see what guests thought about the hot food station at your hotel. Is there anything you can improve? Pancake Machine Part 1. Pancakes are a universal favorite. Hot, fluffy, and golden brown. What more could a guest want? Thankfully, here at Holiday Inn Express, our guests are provided the luxury of sweet, syrupy pancakes every morning. The best part? All they have to do is press a button on our pancake machine and perfect pancakes are served in minutes. So easy, so convenient. But in order to make this process as smooth and efficient as we can for our guests, you need to know the parts of the machine and how to prepare and insert the pancake batter. So let's start by looking at the parts of the machine. Pancakes are made in the Quick Cakes machine, an easy, user-friendly appliance that guests use to help themselves to hot pancakes. It's made up of the following parts: the main compartment, the top mix compartment, and the LED display screen. And you'll see the following buttons on the machine: the power button, the menu button, an OK button, a cancel button, and number keys. Inside the machine, you'll find roller heater assemblies and Teflon belts, belt release levers for loosening and tightening the belts, a small intake fan filter, a splash guard, the bag winder assembly, a large exhaust fan filter, white anti-rollers, and a crumb tray with rubber wiper. Take notes and familiarize yourself with the parts of the Quick Cakes machine. Next, let's look at how to prepare and insert the pancake batter. There are 11 steps to preparing the batter. Step 1. Remove one bag of pancake mix from the case. Remember to check the expiration date. Step 2. Fill the stainless steel bottle with water. Make sure it's the bottle with the thermometer strip on the side. The water temperature needs to be between 68 degrees and 72 degrees Fahrenheit, or 20 degrees and 22 degrees Celsius. When the water is at this temperature, the batter's consistency is perfect. Step 3. Shake the bag while holding the cap at the top. Shake gently to loosen and move the dry mix to the bottom of the bag. Then, unscrew the cap on the pancake batter bag. Step 4. Pour the water into the bag and replace the cap. Make sure the cap is screwed on perfectly tight and not cross-threaded. Step 5. Hold the bag up so that the batter falls to the bottom of the bag and knead it gently for 60 seconds to mix it. Step 6. Then grab the two ends of the bag and shake it vigorously in an up and down motion for 15 to 20 seconds, mixing the water and dry mix well. Step 7. Lay the bag flat and let the batter rise for about 3 to 5 minutes. Don't remove the cap yet. Step 8. Shake the bag in the same way again. Step 9. Lay the bag flat and remove the cap. Gently slide your hand across the bag towards the cap to remove any air. Inspect the batter for consistency and texture. Step 10. Replace the cap, making sure it's tightened firmly and properly. There might be a major spill if the cap isn't replaced properly, and we wouldn't want that. Step 11. Tear off the cap's lid and discard it. Top tip: if the batter isn't smooth or if it's too thick, add 1 tablespoon of water at a time. Then, shake the bag again. Once the batter's ready, there are 8 steps for inserting it into the machine. Step 1. Open the top lid of the already preheated machine. Step 2. Place the dispensing cap into the splash guard. Step 3. Lay the bag flat into the bag chamber. Step 4. Place the nozzle of the bag in the hole at the left side of the machine and push the batter away from the end of the bag. Step 5. Slide one of the corners through the bag winder. Then, pull the end of the bag through. Step 6. Close the lid carefully. If it doesn't close easily, remove the bag and get rid of any trapped air. Put the bag back in and close the lid. Step 7. When the display reads, "Is bag loaded?" press OK. Step 8. Press OK again to make sample pancakes. The batter will drop onto the belts. The blinking dots on the LED display indicate the progress of the pancakes as they cook. 2 pancakes will be dispensed on the machine's right. Inspect the sample pancakes. Are they up to standard? If they're not, remove the batter, check its consistency, and try again. Only when they're perfect are they good enough for our guests. Practice making perfect pancakes. Follow the steps to prepare and insert the batter properly. Great pancakes make happy guests, and happy guests means we're delivering simple, smart travel, just like we promised. Pancake Machine Part 2. What goes well with pancakes? Everything. It's a tasty breakfast and a favorite for guests who want a small meal in the morning. For those who want something light, quick, and sweet, pancakes are the go-to meal. In the last lesson, we looked at how to prepare the batter and how to insert it into the machine. Now we'll look at how to clean and maintain the machine. You'll need to follow these 6 steps when breakfast service closes every day. Step 1. Press the power button to shut the machine down. The display will read, "Shutting down and switching off," but the fans will carry on running for about 30 minutes. Don't unplug the machine while it's cooling off. You could damage it. Step 2. Open the top lid, remove the batter bag, and throw it away. You can't reuse batter. Old batter makes pancakes clumpy and dry. We don't want that, and neither do our guests. Step 3. Remove the splash guard and put it aside to be cleaned later. You can also remove the fan filters from the large exhaust fan and the small intake fan, but you only need to do this at the end of every week. Step 4. Wash the splash guard and the filters in an automatic dishwasher or a 3-compartment sink. Step 5. Wipe down the pancake machine with a damp, clean cloth. Step 6. Put the washed and dried splash guard and fan filters back into the machine. And there you have it. Your machine is clean and ready for the next breakfast. Remember, except for filters, this process has to be done after every service. You heard it. Every service. You don't need to change the belts unless the machine prompts you to change them. When this happens, follow the instructions provided with the replacement belts. Order new replacement belts so you always have a supply ready. Refer to your hotel shopping list to see how to order these when you order new pancake batter. Top tip: even if the red label box arrives, belts are only replaced when the machine prompts the change. If the machine shuts down during service, use an out-of-order sign and replace the belts after service. Making pancakes in the Quick Cakes machine is a simple way to get a guest's day off to a delicious start. Fresh, hot pancakes are a treat. All you need to do is prepare the batter, as well as clean and maintain the machine daily. Practice cleaning the machine by following the steps closely. Perfect pancakes are only moments away. Bakery station. Finally, we've gotten to the good stuff. The bakery station! After all, what's an egg breakfast without a perfectly toasted English muffin to go with it? What other way is there to start the day but with a doughy and delicious blueberry muffin? This popular station has guests coming back for more. More muffins, more bagels, and definitely that extra slice of toast. Just like the rest of service, the station needs to be carefully set up and fully stocked, so guests can find what they're looking for as effortlessly as possible. This is, after all, part of our promise here at Holiday Inn Express. And to help you get the hang of it, let's look at the best practices for the station. It's important to know what products are available at the bakery station, so check your quick reference guide to familiarize yourself with each item. Remember to double-check that all the items are present and unwrapped before service starts. There should be no items missing or in the wrong tray. Remember, consistency across hotels and from one breakfast to the next is why guests trust our service. We're all about making it easier for them. We're about providing a consistent experience. Top tip: you can save time by loading trays the day before, covering them with plastic wrap, and storing them at room temperature. Like the other stations, the bakery display should be clean and tidy. Keep the bakery cabinet, toaster, and surrounding countertop free of crumbs. Regularly check if the bakery station needs to be refilled. If the station is running low, take the shelf to the pantry and add more fresh items to it. Remember to push the older items forward. There's FIFO again. While we want to keep the bakery station stocked, you'll need to minimize and manage stock towards the end of breakfast. We dispose of all leftovers after breakfast, so you don't want to waste. Top tip: remember that we offer guests an express breakfast, so our grab-and-go bags should always be clearly displayed for guests who don't have time for a sit-down breakfast. And that's all there is to it. All the good stuff, perfectly prepared and ready for service. Still unsure? Take a few minutes right now to get the breakfast trays ready for tomorrow. Serveware station. Coffee? Check. Juice? Check. Next up, a tasty pancake, a sweet cinnamon roll, or some bacon and eggs. But before guests can dig in, they need to swing by the serveware station to get all the crockery and cutlery they'll need for breakfast. It's one of the first stations they'll see, and like everything we do here at Holiday Inn Express, making it as easy and efficient for them to get what they need is our goal. You know the drill. In this lesson, we'll be looking at the required equipment and products, What is the required equipment, you ask? Well, that's straightforward. It's the Serveware Organizer. It keeps all the crockery and cutlery organized and accessible. To maintain a consistent, high-quality experience, it's important that hotels stock only the brand-approved serveware. So what are the required products? Well, that's pretty straightforward too. They are 9-inch plates, 12-ounce bowls, napkins, and forks, knives, and spoons. If a guest is spending time looking for the right serveware or has to ask you where to find something, it slows both you and the guest down. We know you understand this feeling. Just like our guests, you are on a mission. A mission to provide excellent, efficient service. Luckily, you can save time by replenishing the plates, utensils, and napkins at all serviceware stations directly after each service, so you don't end up having to do it the next morning. Go ahead. Why wait? Get your pre-service checklist and make sure the serveware station is stocked and ready to go.